are on the right path. You are on the right journey. The journey of self-discovery, the journey of self-love, the journey of self-empowerment. Stay on this journey. You are on the right path. You are on the right journey. The journey of self-love, self-discovery. Stay on this journey. And so, let's talk about perseverance. Let's talk about keep on keeping on. Let's talk about how does a man keep going when the going gets tough. I want to play a little clip from Rocky Balboa, that famous speech that we all are familiar with.
Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, now go out and get what you're worth. But you got to be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you want to be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that.
Yeah. It's about how hard we can get hit by life and keep going. How hard can we get hit by our own circumstances and keep going? That's what it's about. Sometimes it's our own bad decisions that hit us. Sometimes it's a project that's proven itself hard to achieve. Sometimes it's family. Sometimes it's a friend that betrayed us, or a lover, or a relationship we invested considerable amount of time and effort in that turned out not to work out, that didn't work out. Well, how do we keep going? We just have to find it from within. Our locus of control must come from within. Our point of reference must come from within. That sense of, this is my life. That sense of, I am it. That sense of, nobody else is coming to save me. That sense of, I'm not wishing that life were different. I'm just going to work on myself. I'm just going to keep on keeping on. It ain't easy out there. Yeah, and quite frankly, no one said that it is supposed to be easy or where it was supposed to be easy. But what we do know, though, by the many accounts of success that are available to us out there, we know that people who have found the courage to persevere eventually have success, eventually obtain what they wanted. Eventually, they conquered their fears and their situations, and success became theirs. We know that because we've watched the stories, we've watched their videos, their interviews, we've heard the audios. We know that because they are commonplace. We don't have a lack of success stories. And so when resistance kicks in and we are feeling lazy, or we are feeling like we can't go on for another day, Let's remember those who've come before us. Let's remember those who've made it through worse situations than ours. Let's remember that it ain't about how hard we get hit, but how hard we can get hit and keep going despite the hits. That's what it's about. That's one of the places that our motivation should come from. It ain't easy. Sometimes it's our finances that are not right. Sometimes it's building our finances only for half of it, if not all of it, to be wiped out by whatever the circumstance might be. Sometimes it's figuring out how to get to that next level. Sometimes it's a mental anguish about realizing that we have hit a ceiling and our current plateau is no longer serving us. We've been going around and around on this current level, and yet we have a hard time figuring out how to get to the next level, which route to take to get to that next level that will take us out of this misery of the current place that we are in, that will take us out of the misery of our current plateau. We just have to keep going. So I encourage you, just as I encourage myself. This message is as much for myself as it is for you. It is as much a reminder for me as it is a reminder for yourself. Nobody's coming to save us. Nobody's coming to make it happen for us. We have to make it happen for ourselves. We have to go out there and make a statement to ourselves first that we are tough enough to keep going. We have to make a statement to ourselves first that we want our dreams bad enough and that we are willing to get hit continuously and just keep coming back strong. Yes. We have to make that statement to our own psyche. Forget about other people. Forget about bystanders. Forget about naysayers. Forget about people who are watching us on the sideline. No. Let's care more about ourselves, our own psyche, our own mind, because that's our biggest enemy. Let's care about our own mind. Let's make a statement. Let's take a stand against our own negative self-talk. And let's stand and say, I'm going to keep going. These men and women who have gone before me have made it. I can make it. In fact, I'm making it. And quite frankly, we've come too far to quit. We should have quit years ago. We should have given up years ago. Now is not the time to give up. Now that we have started seeing a little success, now that we have started having impact on our environment, now that we have started incurring some acknowledgement, this is not the time to quit. Now that we have grown and expanded so much, now that we know so many principles, so many success principles, we've seen and heard so many success stories, now is not the time to stop. We should have stopped years ago. I know for myself, man, I should have stopped years ago. Not right now. I've come too far. I've done too much. I've changed too much. I've expanded too much. I've grown too much. I've made too many friends. I know too many people. I know too many notions and ideas. Now is not the time for me to stop. Now is not the time for you to stop either, my brother. This is the time for you to keep going. This is the time for you to renew your commitment to your journey. This is the time for you to renew your commitment to your dreams. This is the time for you to renew your commitment to your self-worth and decide that you're going to keep going because you're worth it. Yes, because it's your right, because it belongs to you, because you are it. And you, of all people, can do it. And you, of all people, can have it too. Yes, this is what time it is. Yes, this is no quitting time. This is time to keep advancing. This is time to keep going forward. And so, today, spend a little time contemplating on the fact that, man, you've come too far, bro. Man, you should have stopped long time ago. When that, remember that particular situation that occurred in your life that almost took you out? Yeah, that's when you should have stopped. Remember when you made that mistake, when you lost that money, when you lost that business opportunity, when you didn't get that promotion, when you were fired from your job, when that relationship didn't work, when that woman put you out, or whatever happened, when she cheated on you, that's when you should have stopped. You didn't stop. You found a way to keep going. You found the courage. Yeah. And so now is definitely not the time to stop. Now is definitely not the time to quit. Remember now, nobody cares about the difficulties we're going through. And that's a hard truth about life. And we need to operate by that truth. We need to remember it. Nobody cares about the issues that we faced. They only care how we overcame. They only care what we did. They only care that we have a good story to tell. They only care that we have a victorious story to tell. That's what people care about. That's what the world cares about. The world wants to know how you overcame your issues, how you overcame your problems, and how you've gotten from there to here so that they can capitalize on that story, so that they can monetize that story and make it serve them. That's what the world cares about. Yep. And so I have one of my best principles, a part of my core philosophy of life is I don't want to tell the story of how I couldn't make it. I never want to tell the story of how I had to stop. I never want to tell that story. That's core of my philosophy of life. I want to tell how I made it. I want to tell of the many times I failed, but I got up and kept going. I want to tell the story of how I overcame it, because that's how I see life. That, quite frankly, to be honest with you, that's how I see life. I don't want to hear it. As soon as you start talking, I'm paying attention for clues about, did the story change? I'm waiting for that turning point while you're telling your sorry story. I'm waiting to hear, okay, did the story change? At what point did the story turn around? I'm waiting for that clue, because my philosophy of life is I don't want to tell the story of how I couldn't do it. And then that's where it stopped. Oh, hell no. I don't want to tell the story. Man, it wasn't working. And so I failed. I want to tell the story of how I changed my perception. I want to tell the story of how I changed my belief system and got new belief systems that make it work for me. I want to tell the story of how I realized certain things I was doing wrong and how I made this switch. I want to tell my success story, not failure story. And if I ever talk about the story, of course, it'll be as a background for my success. It'll be as context. It'll be for context of the current story of success that I'm telling. That's a core part of my philosophy of life. Yeah. Well, I'm not going to tell you where I meant to do that, but I didn't do it. No, I want to tell you I meant to do it. I tried to do it. I couldn't do it several times, but eventually I did it. I had to make some adjustments, but I did it. That's the story I want to tell. And quite frankly, it's not so much about that's the story that I want to tell people. It's really the story that I want to tell myself. That's what I want to believe for myself. Yes, because that's what makes me feel good. Having overcome makes me feel good. Having succeeded makes me feel good. Having faced challenges and arisen from them makes me feel good. That's the story I want to tell myself. And so should you. That's the story you want to tell yourself. The story of an overcomer. The story of a man who found a way. The story of a man with thick skin. That's the story you want to tell yourself first. And others can have the opportunity to hear it. And others can have the opportunity to capitalize on it. My brother, keep on keeping on. Remember, the world is full of stories of success from both men and women who've come before us, who have made it. When the going gets tough, you get tougher with the going. I'll see you next time. Thank you. Thank you for spending time with me in this week's episode on His Excellence podcast. I hope I was able to inspire you and encourage you on your journey. Check Men's Superpower out on YouTube and also on Facebook. All links will be in the show notes below. Thank you. I'll see you next week. Remember, you are king. Stay in your kingdom. Namaste.